So I've been very lucky in terms of engaging with stakeholders and policymakers. One of the hats I wear is as a researcher in the Department of Gerontology. And in that hat, for example, I've engaged with the Office for National Statistics. They have been incredibly useful as partners in terms of giving us access to information that is not publicly available, or giving us an insight into the way that they measure different concepts that we can only access as researchers. A different hat that I wear is Director of the South Coast Doctoral Training Partnership, funded by the ESRC. And in that role, I have been really privileged to get into contact with different stakeholders at the local, national and international level. An example of that is the Hampshire County Council, which is not very far from Southampton. And in that role, for example, they have been really instrumental in helping us provide PhD students with the experience of working with a non-academic partner. And also they have been instrumental with our research as well. An example I really like giving is a few years ago, as part of a project that was trying to model how the care life cycle works, we had a meeting with the Hampshire County Council social workers, and that gave us a very good insight into how social workers actually assess the needs of older people when an older person rings up the council to find out what help is available. That was a really eye-opening experience for us, because until then we had been using statistical models that include, for example, a variable on living arrangements. But what these meetings with stakeholders told us is that the living arrangements of an older person are really important in terms of the social workers assessing the needs. So from that point on, that gave us a lot of confidence as researchers in the type of modeling that we did. So one good example of my work with international bodies is a collaboration with the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe that produces policy briefs on different topics. And the topic that I was focusing on was the use of technology in promoting independence for older persons in the community. Now, that piece of work and collaboration was brilliant, because as an academic, it helped me really crystallize the meaningful parts of research projects around the European Union, and it allowed me to synthesize this information directly thinking from a policymaker's perspective. And this was a policy brief which was distributed among policymaker networks, and it really helped me understand exactly the types of information and the limitations that policymakers have when they approach such policy relevant issues. I think I would give two pieces of advice to other academics. The first one is to really think about what it is about your research which is of importance from a policymaker's perspective. Really try to get down to the what-if questions, the so-what questions, the important, meaningful part of your research which can really make a difference to people's lives, whether it is younger people, older people, or whatever the research is on. So the first difficult task is to really crystallize one's research into what is policy important. The second task or piece of advice is to really seek the advice of more senior colleagues, because there's people around academics network who have done it before, who have got large networks, and who really wouldn't mind taking a less senior colleague along to a meeting, or to really telling them and giving them advice about how to engage with policymakers. When I was a PhD student, my PhD supervisor gave me a piece of advice which I've never forgotten. She said to me, "Athina, if you don't speak, people are not going to listen to you," which makes complete sense, but that is very true. Unless you actually seek advice, you seek support, then people are not going to help you.